First story. Guy overhears fiancé speaking about ex on the phone. Things escalate when he confronts her. My fiancé F31 and I M33 got engaged in October last year and have been in a relationship for 5 years. Everything has been great, and I can honestly say that I've never met anyone who comes close to her. She's absolutely been the love of my life. I've known her most of it. We grew up on the same street, just around the corner from each other. Her mom and dad still stay in the same house, and I stay in the same house I grew up in, which my mom left to me when she passed away in 2014. We still don't officially live together yet, but for all intents and purposes, she lives here. Her and her parents are close though, and she still has her bedroom there and will occasionally spend the night there. But she's never away from here. So this morning I decided to go take a walk to the shops to buy some things. And as I was about halfway down the 15-minute walk, I realized I had forgotten my face mask. Masks are mandatory here in shops since the 10th of July, so I had to walk back and get mine. When I walked in the door to grab the mask from the kitchen table, I heard her speaking to someone loudly on the phone in the living room, and she said, "Yeah, but David will always be the love of my life." David is her ex-boyfriend. I don't know a great deal about him, but I know they were in a relationship for 2 years, and it ended a year before we started dating. He also dumped her. I grabbed my mask and walked back out, and just as I got to the shops, I felt weird, and I had to sit down as my mind was going in 1,000 different directions. I eventually got back home and immediately told her I felt sick and sent her back round to her parents' house, as I didn't want her to know I was sick. I'm now lying in bed wondering what to do, to be honest. I know she didn't do anything wrong. It's not like she cheated on me or intentionally went out of her way to hurt me. But what's heard can't be unheard. She said that the person she's agreed to marry isn't a patch on an ex she's not been with for 6 years. The fact that she said he would always be the love of her life also means that it's a void game. Her heart's already been taken, and there's nothing I could ever do to change that. Also, what would happen if he did come back into her life? You can't turn down the love of your life when they come calling. And I'd be dumped quicker than yesterday's leftovers. So how do I navigate this? Tell her I was earwigging and heard her say that SHT. Just end the relationship for a completely vague reason like, "Oh, it's not you, it's me," etc. Swallow my pride and pretend I didn't hear it. Everything has been great, but there's no way on this earth I want to be someone's second choice, especially when her ex is the one on her mind that she obviously would be with if she could. I'm thinking about just saying it's not working between us. She's now texting me about coming around tonight and spoiling me because I'm the sickie. F that. Update. I was going to update sooner, but I've spent the last 3.5 days in a drunken stupor, so my apologies, but I'll warn you, this is not a good update. So after posting and receiving some advice on Reddit on Thursday, I was thinking of telling her to come back round on Thursday night so we could talk, but settled on Friday morning instead, as I wanted to get my head in a clearer state. She still thought I was ill, so I needed a bit of time to think through what I was going to say. She comes around on Friday morning at about 8 a.m., and I think she could see right away that something was wrong, as I must have looked stony-faced, and you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. Anyway, I said to her that I wasn't really sick, and that yesterday, as I was going to the shops, I forgot my mask and had to come back to retrieve it, and when I got in to get it, I heard her talking in the other room about David. Her face went completely pale, and she started welling up, so I instinctively stopped talking and just stared at her. She then runs into the toilet, locks the door, and starts hysterically crying, and alarm bells are going off all over the place in my head. Her reaction made me think she didn't know what I heard, so she must have said some other SHT about him as well. I knocked on the door and told her if she had any aspirations of saving this relationship, she had better tell me everything right now. 30 minutes or so go by, and she finally comes out, dabbing her face with a tissue, and tells me David got back in touch with her 4 or 5 months ago, and she has been sleeping with him once or twice a week since. All I can think of is that the snippet of conversation I heard her having was about her friend, or something helping her choose between David and me. When I heard this, I hit the roof. I threw her out, grabbed handfuls of her stuff, put it in bin bags, and threw it out the door into the front garden. She's still standing there, BTW. I then grabbed my garden hose and drenched the SHT out of the bags with it. I'm not proud of that. It was extremely petty, and in hindsight, I should never have done that. At this point, she has run round to her house, and about a minute later, her dad comes rampaging around screaming. Her dad and I end up rolling about the now quagmire-ish front garden fighting at about 9 a.m. in the morning, no less. Police vans and everything ended up turning up, and half the street was out because of the rammy. Afterwards, I blocked her on everything and went to my friend's house, where the three of us spent the weekend, and Monday, they took off work. I'm on furlough drinking. When I got back in the house this morning, I noticed she had been back in the house at some point. She had made the beds, done the washing, and ironed. I have no idea why she did this. As I'm writing this, she's tried to get in again. I haven't been able to change the locks yet, so I put the door chains on the front and back doors. And from upstairs, I heard the door opening and the chains clanging as she tried to get in. There's also a note that she's put through the door. I don't even want to read it right now. I'm too hurt, hungry, and hungover to even think about what she has to say. Update 2. Sorry for the belated update, but I'm in a bad mood right now. I'm half drunk as I write this, so bear with me. Since everything that has happened, things have taken a turn for the worse. As many of you mentioned I should do, I sent an email to her father, explaining my side of the story and apologizing for taking things public and embarrassing his daughter. But as I said previously, I acted instinctively. I didn't apologize for fighting him, as I was reacting to him coming at me. He told me to F off and accused me of biting his ear for some reason. So that's what was stuck in my teeth. I'm joking, of course, if you don't laugh. About a week ago, I went outside to find my car keyed right down from the passenger side wing mirror round to the boot. Last Sunday, I was walking down the road to meet a friend at the Arches, a place where we occasionally hang out and walk from an arched bridge. And as I was turning the corner, the local mouth gossip called me a disgrace. I said, "Am I a disgrace?" And she told me that I'm a disgrace for beating up my ex-fiancé. Let's be clear here. I've never laid a finger on her in my life. Either she, her father, or someone else is perpetuating this lie. And me throwing her SHT out and hosing it has given it this authenticity. I haven't spoken to my ex, and she hasn't tried to contact me anymore. I think they're all on the same page now that I'm the bad guy. I've got the ball rolling in putting my house up for sale. I can't live here anymore. I wish I still had my mom to lean on. She would make things better. Sorry for the SHT update. Update 3. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who has reached out. I've tried to reply to everyone, and hopefully this update will help. I am still in my house, but I will be renting it out rather than selling it. I can't, in good conscience, give up something that was my mom's and has been in the family for generations. I have spoken to the father, and I understand why the family circled the wagons. But to throw me under the bus so brutally was genuinely ridiculous. It was collateral damage to me, and my name is all right, apparently. I have only known them my entire life. All in all, I feel like I was in the midst of a SHT show that changed course. I'm still struggling but feeling a lot better now that I've got an umbrella and a effing roadmap. I would also like to note that I posted on social media, giving my side of the story. Whether that was right or not is up for debate, but it was after I let those close to me discreetly spread it first that I felt the time was right. Her side is still singing off the same hymn sheet, but I am hoping neutrals will see things from my side. My close pals have been incredible throughout all this, but that's why they're close pals, I guess. Update 4. Well, it's been over a year, and I have since moved out of my house and am now renting it to an older couple, so I thought I would update you. I'm doing great and have even gotten myself a girlfriend. Wish me luck. What did I learn? SHT hit the fan fast, but I stood strong, and for the first time in what seems like an age, I'm looking forward to the future. We only get one life, right? F spending it with someone who would treat me like trash. Second story. OP's foster mother hates her. And the reason is unbelievable. I don't know why my foster mom hates me. I'm looking for advice, please. Okay, so my biggest issue is that I don't want to go back into a foster home because I was in one for a few months last year, and it was really, really awful. So I live with one of my dad's friends and his wife. My dad died, and my mom can't take care of me. I'm here until I graduate next year. I like my dad's friend. I've known him since I was a kid, and he's really nice. But his wife is a completely different story. At first, she was really nice to me, but then everything I did started annoying her, and she just started hating me. So I try my best to stay out of her way. But it's like every day I do something that pisses her off, and she comes into my room and flips out. And it's always when her husband isn't home, and I really don't want to say anything to him, because again, I don't want to get kicked out and have to go back to a foster home. What are some things I can say to her, or things I can do to make her not hate me? Sorry, I'll answer any questions. I don't think I explained myself well. Update posted a day ago. My foster mom says I'm trying to seduce my foster dad. Based on texts she's seen, I have no idea what text she's talking about since I'm not trying to seduce anyone. How do I tell her she's dead wrong without majorly pissing anyone off? So I wrote a post yesterday, and the comment on it said that I should try to kill my foster mother, kind of. I'm living with my dad's best friend and his wife. With kindness, and when she freaks out on me, I should try to have her articulate what she's made of, etc. So I decided to try that yesterday. The last couple days have been pretty bad because Jeremiah's been away on a business trip. So it's like anything I do, I get yelled at for. So I've basically been just hiding in my room. But then she yells at me for that. But whatever. So this morning, at about 8 a.m., she came into my room and started yelling that I was still in bed. And saying that if I didn't do my laundry now, I was going to mess up her day because she was going to wash all of her sheets and blankets. I told her it wasn't a problem. I had already done my laundry last night, so I didn't need the washer and dryer. She immediately went in on me, telling me it was rude to do laundry at night, and that I could have woken her up. I said I was sorry, and that next time I wouldn't do it at night. So then she told me that, as a new rule, she wanted me up by 7, and told me there was no reason for me to be up all night texting and sleeping till 8. She was getting really upset. So I asked her if I had kept her up or something. Then she turned on me, and she was so mad. I legit thought she was going to hit me. And she tells me I've seen the texts. And she was so mad. I don't know why she wouldn't have started off with this. Obviously, I was like, what texts? I don't text that many people. And she was like, the texts with you and Jeremiah. And I was so confused because I usually just text him about dinner and things we need from the store. And I tried to show her that. And she took my phone and tossed it and cracked the screen too, and told me I was just a liar and a W, and that I was absolutely not. Which I'm absolutely not. Is she certifiably crazy? Should I text him and ask? After that, she told me to do the laundry and left. Jeremiah is awake, and I want to call him and tell him about this. But I'm scared that she's going to take his side, and I'm going to end up back in a foster home, and I don't want that. Second update posted a day ago. Update on my foster mom's hateful situation. Hi everyone. Thanks for all of your advice, except for that one person in my inbox who kept insisting I needed to talk to my parents about the whole thing. I tried to call my caseworker, but apparently they're super understaffed, so she didn't answer. But she texted me, telling me she'd set up an appointment for sometime next week or the week after. So I called Jeremiah and told him the entire situation, and he flipped out. He told me Angela has always been paranoid and jealous, but he never thought it would get this far. I told him everything that happened while he was gone and how she treated me when he wasn't around. He was really mad. He came home early from his trip. He was supposed to come home this afternoon, but got back at like 2 a.m. They didn't know I was awake, but I overheard them fighting. I guess she's been really jealous for a while because he was saying, "You told me this wouldn't be an issue," and stuff like that. When I woke up this morning, she wasn't here. Jeremiah said she's staying at her mom's for a few days to clear her head. Notable comments pointed out by UGry69N. Commenter. Just read the OP. Is it possible he's using your name to mask someone else in his texts? OP's reply. I don't know. They mentioned the texts a bit in the fight, and she only said, I saw the text about her. She didn't say anything about text to me. Other replies. 1. I worry that he may have texted something inappropriate about you to one of his friends, and now the wife has the wrong idea. That's my only worry since it wasn't texted directly to you. 2. This is a very good point. OP, I would suggest you bring up these texts about you to an adult you trust, or if you feel safe enough to do so, your foster mother, and ask her what she meant specifically. Texts between you two and about you mean distinctly different things, and while this does not excuse her abusive behavior whatsoever, it's important to understand if she was referring to texts beyond your personal messages with your foster father, or if she just misspoke. Stay safe, OP. You are very brave, and you are doing the right thing. OP's second reply on the same thread was, I honestly have no idea what they said. She said it and was like, I saw the text about her, and he told her to shut up the F up, and she didn't know what she was talking about. Third story. OP's ex-husband's girlfriend wants her to leave her home so she can move in. My ex-husband and I are in our early 40s and late 30s and have been divorced for almost 3 years now. While he did not want to get divorced, we separated and have been co-parenting our 2 preteens amicably. He lives within 5 blocks of our old home, and while we have 50-50 custody, our kids freely bounce between our places and choose how they want to spend holidays. We've tried hard to create a sense of stability despite the change in our family situation, and have standing tune-up therapy twice a year to make sure we're all comfortable with the arrangements. His recent partner, Maria 29F, has been the only one to make past the 6-month mark, and prior to this encounter, I would say that she makes him happy, and is a pretty reasonable lady. She has a very sweet and precocious son 9 that we all adore, and generally, I thought things were going well. I invited Maria to bring her son to my place, if she would like him to join my kids in private language classes. She accepted, and this has been going on for a few weeks now. My kids adore him. Last week, she said something to me that was surprising. She asked me when I would be moving my things out so that my ex and her could be able to cohabit. I was taken aback and confused, asking her to clarify. My current home, this home. And she nonchalantly told me, "You don't need all this space for 3 people. We wouldn't have space at the ex's current condo." Her son looked so awful and embarrassed at this point that I was like, ooh, this conversation would need to include my ex. My kids and I live in a brownstone that my ex and I purchased together 50-50, but that I have been renovating since before the divorce. My ex lives in a nice condo that's spacious, but still a little bit of a man cave. Later in the evening, I got a text message from her son that was pleading for me to forgive his mom, that he's sorry for his mom, and to not tell my ex. I feel awful, but I think I should let my ex know this conversation occurred and let him handle it. Wibta if I told my ex-husband my concerns about his GF. Edit. I'm the single owner of the house. My ex insisted throughout the divorce that I keep it. We do own his condo though, haha. In the comments. Before our divorce, we owned both properties outright. Our divorce was very amicable. He suggested I keep the brownstone. After the divorce, I had my lawyer help me transfer the brownstone deed, and my ex signed the documents. He just never did that with the condo. I asked him a few times, and the answers were always hand-wavy. I'm his ex-wife. I'm not going to continue nagging him about something he's dragging his feet on. The awkward conversation happened in person. I shut it down because her son was there, and I could tell he understood the situation and felt uncomfortable. He texted me afterwards from his own phone. He's a special kid in the best way. He's very mature and advanced for his age. The thing is, I don't think it's been discussed between them at all. I think she may have just assumed. When we separated, he insisted that I keep the house and that I didn't need to buy him out. The house belonging to me is ironclad. I just got nervous and blurted out that we'd discuss it because her son was there. Update 3 months later. I procrastinated bringing up what Maria said and basically told myself to assume my best intentions and have awkward curiosity. My thought process was that it's my home, and she'll have to cart me out here on the back of a horse. I admit I was also nervous about raining on his happiness and did not want to be perceived as a bitter ex. The kids had a great time at camp, and a month or so later, we had family dinner with both sets of grandparents. My ex brought Maria, and it started out great. Everyone welcomed Maria and her son. Maria was helping me finish up dessert in the kitchen, and I was patting myself on the back for the goop-level blended family dynamic when she made an off-the-cuff comment about how she'd host parties here. Ex came in with the kids, overheard, and asked, "Oh, did Low Stakes offer for you to host?" Maria's son just burst into tears and started apologizing. It was genuinely one of the most awkward experiences of my life. Long story short, the entire family has learned that ex had a vasectomy after divorce and is not looking to remarry anytime soon. Afterwards, I talked to him about the previous interaction, along with showing him the text messages. They're no longer together. I am worried about Maria's son, although I recognize it's not my place. I'm unsure of what I can do there. Edit. Some people asked why I laughed, haha, at the end of my edit that I owned half his condo. It was mainly out of uncomfortable irony. X is extremely driven and brilliant in his career, but disorganized in life. Note from your reposter. OP kind of glossed over the confrontation between the ex and Maria. Some people are confused about why Maria thought the house was too big for OP's 3 people, but not too big for her own 3 people, and the way things played out when the ex found out. This is my take. Maria was already planning to move into that house with more than 3 people because she was already planning all the kids they were going to have, without ever discussing it with him. That's why she thought they'd need a bigger house, which brought the vasectomy up during the confrontation. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.